Hello, welcome to Grade 12 Math Lit Prelim Pop. I'm Enrico and I'm an extra math tutor at Teneo. So I have experience in AS level mathematics, IGCSE mathematics, IB mathematics, as well as CAPS mathematics. So when it comes to mathematics, I believe in a practical approach. I believe you have to practice every day. Mathematics is a science, it evolves. The things that you learn today, you will need tomorrow. So it's important that you guys practice it every day. Even if it's just for 45 minutes, just to make sure, that you keep that muscle, growing, Mathematics is like a muscle. You have to go to the gym every day to get stronger. So in the same sense, you have to practice mathematics every day to get stronger. Now, a lot of students, they also tend to say, yeah, but sir, I did practice every day, but I still didn't do well. So my question to you is, how did you prepare? Because if you work through a textbook in your class book, that's not enough. You have to tackle exam questions. You have to prepare yourself to write an exam. You cannot, look through Mickey Mouse problems and expect, to do well in problems that's really, really difficult. So you have to practice, working through examination questions. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys, to succeed at mathematics. And when it comes to mathematics, it's important, that you have, a lot of confidence, because most kids, they sit in an exam room, they do a particular problem, they get it correct, but they feel, oh, this is too easy. This can't be the answer. Then they erase the correct answer. So if you practice every day with exam questions, it will boost your confidence, because the questions are difficult, but you will get them correct. And if you don't get them correct, try it again. That's the key. When it comes to excelling in mathematics, you have to get your hands dirty. You can't do, Mickey Mouse problems. You have to tackle exam-based questions. So in this video, we will look at, math lit questions. I only selected two questions, which, revolves around probability, as well as, the box and whisker, as well as, some difficult, calculations that a lot of students, struggle with. So I will also make another video that deals with paper 2 questions. But in this video, we'll only focus on paper 1 questions. And I will explain everything, from the very bottom, you know, up, to make sure that you guys understand. I believe, when you tackle an exam question, you have to dissect it, you have to tackle it in stages. I always tell my students, tackling a question in mathematics is like eating a cake. You can decide, if you're gonna eat the cake in one sitting, and that's really gonna, affect your mood. You're going to get sick because you're gonna get nauseous because of all the sugar. Or you can decide, okay, I'm gonna slice up this cake, and every day, of the week, I'll eat a slice or two. So the same way, when you get a question, break it down into smaller segments and then tackle it step by step, and also show all your workings. But enough of that, let's get started. Let the fun begin. And let's, get the A in mathematics. Okay, allow me to share my screen, and then we'll take things from there. Okay, so what I will do is I will take my face away, because I believe, that takes up a lot of writing space. So I don't want to, end up moving my face around, to make sure that I have space to write. That is just going to, delay the whole process of me explaining, and you just end up being distracted. So allow me just, to take my face away, and you will still hear me. Don't worry. No one else is going to come here and just take over this video. Okay, let me just take my face away. Okay, so let me share my screen. And okay, let's look at question 4, right? As I said, I selected 2 questions out of paper 1. Let's look at question 4 first. Okay, I selected 4 and 5. Okay, so in this question, they say, Bobby lives in India and wants to start his own takeaway business. His specialty is chicken biryani. All his ingredients will be bought in bulk. Bobby intends selling a plate of chicken biryani for 80 rupees. Table 4 shows the estimated cost of ingredients used to make 8 plates of chicken biryani. Okay, so here they gave us table 4 with all the listed ingredients. Then they say each plate of biryani will be packed in a disposable food container that costs 243 rupees. Okay, each. Glossary, just a picture, and they just give some extra information that's not really needed, for this particular question. So what I want you guys to take note of here is that the questions, that follows will be based on this information that's given here. It's based on this information. So it's very, very important, that you highlight, the information that's given. That will be really useful. Okay, so we'll highlight that, um, how much it will cost to make 8 plates, and also um, the number of plates is 8 plates. Sorry, that is the cost, of a plate. One plate will cost 80 rupees. Okay, so now with that being said, let's take all the questions. Okay, so now they say use table 4 in the information above to answer the questions that follow. And the first question is, okay, determine in rupees the price of 520 grams of chicken. Okay, so now that's fairly easy, because if we look at our table, they said one kilogram of chicken costs 200 rupees. 1 kilogram of basmati rice costs 120 rupees. Masala powder 10 rupees. Other ingredients 62 rupees. Okay, so now they want us, to determine the price of 520 grams of chicken. Okay, so here they gave it to us. They gave the price in kilograms, right? So we need to take a percentage of that, and then calculate, the price of 520 grams of chicken. So let's do that. So for 4.1, what we'll have is then, 520 grams, that will be 520 over 1,000 grams, right? Over 1,000 grams, multiply by the price, multiply by the price. So it's important, that we take a percentage of that, because they didn't give us, the price per 100 grams, but they gave us a price per kilogram. So let's see. Okay, so we say 520 over 1,000, because 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram, and then multiply, by 200. Okay, so that means for you will pay 104 rupees. You will pay 104 rupees for 520 grams of chicken. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. Fairly straightforward. Nothing complicated. Okay, so now they say calculate the total cost to make and package a plate of chicken biryani. Okay, now this one, we need to break it up, right? We need to break this one up. They say calculate the total cost and package of a plate, right? That's one plate. That's one plate of chicken biryani. So what we have to do here is we first have to, look at, the information that's given to us and calculate, how much is going to be to make, the 8 plates, and then divide it by 8 to get the cost of one plate. So let's do that, So let's get, that's going to be 4.1.2. 4.1.2. So what we have here is, we can just write a small heading, total cost. And then, we can just, go ahead and calculate it. So it's going to be, the 200 for the chicken, right? 200 for the chicken, 120 for the basmati rice, and then 10 for the masala powder, and 62 for the other ingredients. So when we do the math, and we add all of this up, we will get a value of 392 rupees, right? That's going to be 392 rupees. But that's the total cost to make 8 plates. We need the total cost of one plate. So therefore, it's going to be, total cost of one plate. That's going to be 392 divided by 8, right? Divided by 8, and when we do that, we'll get an answer of 49, right? 49 rupees. That's a total cost, of a plate. However, very important, very, very important. Each plate of biryani will be packed in a disposable food container that costs, okay? So that cost needs to be included in there, okay? So it's going to be total cost. And that's going to give us 51.43 rupees. Okay, fairly straightforward. Let's look at it again. We'll first, calculate the cost of the total cost of making 8 plates, and then we divide by 8 to get 1 plate, and then we also add the price of the food container. Okay, so let's just take a look at the next question. Bobby claims that he can make more than 50% profit on 1 plate of chicken biryani. Verify by showing all calculations if his claim is valid. Okay, so let's read again. Bobby claims that he can make more than 50% profit on 1 plate of chicken biryani. Okay, now they say verify, showing all your calculations. Very important. You have to show everything, and then our calculation will serve as proof whether his statement is valid or whether it's not valid. Okay, so let's look at 413. Okay, let's look at 413. Okay, now we go back to our information that's given to us. They say Bobby intends selling a plate of chicken biryani for 80 rupees. Okay, for 80 rupees, right? He's going to sell it for 80 rupees, and we know the plate of one the price of 1 plate of biryani is already 51, right? It's already 51. So with that being said, let's do the calculation. Okay, so first thing, we look at the profit on 1 plate. Okay, so the profit on 1 plate, that is going to be, he intends of selling it for 80 rupees, but we know the price is actually 51.43. Okay, so the profit that he's going to make there, 80 minus 51.3.43, that's going to be 28.50. Okay, it's 28.50 rupees, 28.57, right? That is what is gonna, that's a profit on 1 plate. So let's see what percentage he makes on 1 plate. The percentage profit he makes on 1 plate. Okay, so now we can say percentage profit. Okay, so in the first calculation we calculate the price, the price profit, but now we calculate the percentage profit on 1 plate, and that's fairly trivial. So all that we have here is 28 over 51 multiplied by 100, and then our answer will be, so let's say 28.57 divided by 51.43 multiplied by 100, and that's going to give us 55%. So 5%. Therefore, Bobby's claim is valid. Okay, Bobby's claim is valid. So let's look at it again. What we did, we first calculated, the price profit, the profit of the price, price profit, which is 28.57 rupees. And then we calculate the percentage profit, on one plate. Then we took that amount, we got here, put it over the price of one plate and then multiply by 100. And that is what we said, he said that he can make more than 50% profit on one plate. Okay. So well done to him. His claim is valid. So now let's look at the next question. Okay. Let's look at 4.1.4. The exchange rate between South African rands and Indian rupees on the 3rd of March 2021 is given in the table below. Okay. So now they say 1 rand in South Africa would be equivalent to 4 rupees. Now they say determine in ZAR, South African rand, the price of masala powder. Okay. We have to determine the price of masala powder. So let's just go up here. And there we have it. We know that masala powder is 10 rupees. Okay. Masala powder is 10 rupees. So over here, let's just squeeze this one in here. Let's just squeeze this question in here and say powder. Let's just say masala powder, just so that we know. Okay, masala powder is 10 rupees. Okay, so we know it is 10 rupees. So now, with that being said, we can see now, if we use the exchange rate, we know that a 1 rand in South Africa is equal to 4.83 rupees, right? So, with that being said, what we can then do is, we can say cost of masala powder. What we can then do is, we take the price of the powder, and divide it by the price, by the exchange rate. We divide it by the exchange rate. Okay. We divide by the exchange rate. And by doing that, we will get the answer of, let's say 10. Let's move this over here. Okay, so that's going to be 2 rand 0.07 cents. Okay, so that is what we have there, 2 rand 0.07 cents. That is going to be the price of masala powder in South African rands. Okay, so what did we do? We look at, the cost of the masala powder, and then what we did was we took the exchange rate, the exchange rate, and then divided in there, and then we got 2 rand 7 cents. Okay, fairly straightforward, nothing complicated. Let's move to the next question. Okay, so now they say Bobby got the idea of selling biryani for his niece Janet, who has her own takeaway business in South Africa. Janet's variable cost to make 1 plate of chicken biryani is 13 rand. Her fixed cost amounts to 600 rand. Okay, again, we have to use the information we have to use this given information to answer the following questions. So always, make sure that, you highlight the most important information. We know they say, okay, Bobby's, is going to sell it, for his niece Janet, who has her own takeaway business in South Africa. Janet's variable cost to make 1 plate of chicken. Okay, so the cost of making 1 plate is 13 rand. A fixed cost amounts to 600. Okay, so now let's look at the following, right? So they say, use the information above to answer the questions that follow. Janet uses the equation below to calculate the total cost, okay? Use the equation to determine the number of plates sold if the total cost was, okay? So this is a fairly straightforward problem, nothing complicated here. They only ask us to calculate P, right? They say use information to determine the number of plates sold, where P is the number of plates. So we have our formula, they gave it to us, which is, total cost. I'll just say TC for total cost, which is 600, which is 600 plus 13P, right? So that being said, my total cost, which is 1380 equals 600 plus 13P, right? So now, if you look at grade 9 mathematics, the goal is to isolate the P variable to get it alone. Okay, so let's do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the 600 over, subtract it, okay, and after subtraction, our answer is going to be 780. And now the obvious thing is to divide the 13 on both sides because we want to cancel it out. And then we can see the number of plates, when we do that, 780 divided by 13. Oh, my mistake, sorry. It's 780, not 770, which is 60 plates, okay? So it's going to be 60 plates, okay? Fairly straightforward. This is, just, fairly linear grade 9 problem. Normally, the P would be X in grade 9, but, we just solve it straightforward. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so now they say table 6 below shows Janet's total cost and income from selling different numbers of plates of biryani. Okay, so now they say the income graph has already been drawn on the table attached on the sheet. Use table 6 and the same grid on the answer sheet to draw another line graph representing the cost of different numbers of plates of biryani. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to take this table, and this sheet here, this, I got from the paper itself, but this will be in your examination, and you have to physically draw, a line graph on the sheet with the given information. So it's very important, that what most of the work has been done for you, have been done for you already. So it's, just your job now to jot down the points and then to connect the dots. Okay, so let's first see, between 500 and 1,000, and see, okay, 607. Let's see how many lines are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so every second line is the next 100. Every second line is the next 100. That's 600. That's 700. That's 800. And that's 900. And then we're 1,000. Okay. So let's work with that. Okay. So now what we have to do is, we have to basically, just put down this information on the table. We have to put it down. So we have to use the information in the table. So number of plates sold and the cost. Okay. So number of plates of biryani. So when nothing was sold, the cost was 600. Okay, that's our first one. And when 10 plates were sold, it was 730. Okay, so we know 700 is here. So 730 should be right there. Let's say 730 is there. Okay, and the next one, when 30 plates were sold, it was 990. 990. Okay, when 30 plates were sold, it was 990. So that's probably somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. When 50 plates were sold, it was 1,250. Okay, so we know that there's going to be this line here is going to be 1 1. There's going to be 1 2. So when 50 plates were sold, it was somewhere here. Yeah, let's say it's here. Okay, let's say it's there. And then when 70 plates were sold, it was 1,510. Okay, 1,510. So 1,6 is here. So 1,510 would be somewhere here. Okay, let's follow it. Let's follow it. Let's follow this dot. You know, it should be here. Okay. And then when 90 plates were sold was 1770. 1770. So I know that 600 is there. 17 would be here. So 1770. 1770. That is for 90 plates. 90 plates. That should be somewhere here. It should be somewhere here. Okay, and then for 100 plates, it's 19, which will be here. 19, which will be there. Okay, so now at the end of the day, I don't have a ruler, but you guys know, you should just, you know, connect this, and this should be linear. Sorry, I don't have a ruler, so it's very difficult, you know, to make a straight line with my drawing device, but it should be a straight line. You know, your graph should be a straight line. So we did that. Okay, and that's worth 3 marks. Okay, that's worth 3 marks. Let's look at the next question. 4.2.3. Determine the minimum number of plates of biryani that Janet must sell before she starts making a profit. Okay, the minimum amount, okay, that she must sell before she starts making a profit. So now that's fairly easy, right? That's fairly easy for us. It's fairly easy for us because when we look back, when we go back, okay, right, we saw, you know, Janet used the equation below to calculate the total cost. Use the equation to determine the number of plates if the total cost, okay? So this is the total cost, right? So it's 60. This was for 60 plates. Sorry, 60 plates. Let me just erase this line here. 60 plates. Okay, so this was for 60 plates. So before she starts making a profit, you know, we need to look at how much, you know, how many plates must he sell. And even from the table, we can see, you know, it's around about year 50. That's when she will, you know, start to actually make a profit. You know, that's the minimum. Determine the minimum number of plates that Janet must sell before she starts making a profit. Okay, minimum number of plates, because yeah, you know, if she sells 10 plates, let's say 730 minus 600, you know, that's going to be like 130. That's not really a profit, you know. Even, you know, if she, you know, if she makes 990, if she starts making, if she, and we subtract it, you know, that is just going to be, you know, 390, you know, that's just above 50%, you know, it's just above 50%, and it's not really, you know, something, you know, that she's not even making 600 in profit. Okay, so at the end of the day, you know, if we look at, you know, 500, you know, if you look at 50 plates, sorry, not 500, 50 plates, sorry about that, that's other information, and we say 1250. Okay, now she's 650, you see, 650, now she start making a profit. Okay, 650, now she's starting to make, you know, now she's really actually starting to make a profit at the end of the day. So it's around about, you know, at 50 plates, she should sell at least minimum 50 plates, then she will make, you know, a profit at the end of the day. Okay, let's move to the next question. 4.3. Tourism in India is important for the country's economy and it is growing rapidly. The Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report 2019 has ranked India 34th out of 140 countries overall. Annex C indicates the number of tourist arrivals in arrivals in India, as well as the countries of origin of these tourists. Okay, So with that being said, let's look at, this problem. Let's look at this problem. Okay, so we have an extra C. Here we have an extra C. So let's tackle the questions. So they say, write down as a decimal the probability of selecting a torus that comes from other countries. Okay, so now we have to look at where's other countries. Okay, so as a decimal, there's other countries. So as a decimal, 4.3.1. As a decimal, that's fairly straightforward. That's going to be 18% over 100, and that's just going to give us 0.187. Okay, that is, the answer for that particular question when we write it in a decimal. They're basically just asking you to rewrite the percentage as a decimal. Now, they say, state the trend in the number of tourist arrivals in India from 2015 to 2019. Okay, so let's look at, the information. Let's look at the annex share. As we can see, the tourist, arrivals, increase each and every year. Okay, so it's fairly easy. All that we have to say here is as time increase, the number of tourists visiting India increases. That's fairly straightforward. 4.3.2. As time increase, the number of tourists sorry, my bad. Just want to make some space here. Visiting India increases. Okay, so that's our answer there. That is our answer. So now, with that being said, let's move to 4.3.3. For 2019, the total number of tourist arrivals in India was 10.93 million. Bobby states that more than 4.5 million tourists who visited India in 2019 came from Bangladesh. Verify showing all calculations whether his statement is correct. Okay, Bobby is again making, some statements here, and we have to check, whether they are correct or not. So now, with that being said, let's go and see, whether he's correct or not. Bobby says that more than 4.5 million tourists who visited India in 2019 came from Bangladesh. Okay, so let's see, So here we have Bangladesh, and in 2019 there were 37.1. Okay, 37.1. So now what we're going to do is we look at the total number. Of tourist arrivals in India and take 37.1% of that and see actually, how much that is. So 4.3.3. Okay. So you can say the number of Bangladesh tourists. Okay. So now with that being said, what we're going to do here is we're going to take out 10.93 million and multiply it by 37 over 100. And when we do that, we can see our answer is going to be Sorry. And when we multiply this by 1,000,000, okay, we can actually see his claim is correct. So, oh, no, sorry, his claim is not correct. Sorry, his claim, because, it's 4.5, he said more than 4.5, and this is 4,555,000. No, not 555,000. 455,030. Okay, so Bobby's claim is not correct. The statement is not correct. Okay, so now they say the pie chart shows the total percentage of tourist arrivals in India for 2019 as 99.8%. Give a valid reason why this. Give a valid reason why this is not 100%. Okay, so this is, is just a mathematical thing, where it's due to rounding of large numbers and converting to a percentage, so it's just the fact of it's due to rounding, due to the rounding of large numbers, in converting to a percentage. Okay, so is that where you round off too soon, perhaps, or you chopping some numbers away too soon in a calculation, that it leads to when you convert it to a percentage, then it becomes 99.8 and not 100. That's the reason. Is due to the rounding factor. That's why. So that's question 4. Let's look at question 5. Okay, and question 5 is also on the same how can I put it, same marking scheme as question 4. The length of the question is kind of the same. Length of the question is kind of the same, as you can see. If you look at question 4, that's what we have here. It's nice and extensive. 5 is also nice and extensive. So let's look at this one. So they say Marius, who is 64 years old, earned an annual taxable income of 551,762 for the 2019-2020 tax year. During the 2019-2020 tax year, Marius was not a member of any medical fund. Okay, table 7 below shows the tax table for the 2019-2020 tax year. Okay, and they giving us information there, and then also they say below, table 8 below shows the tax rebates and medical credits for the 2019 to 2020 tax year. Okay, so let's answer the questions. So yes, a bunch of information that's given to us, and we're going to use that information to answer the questions. Okay, so now they say use table 7 and 8 above to answer the questions that follow. Identify which tax bracket Marius falls in based on his taxable income. Okay, so that is fairly straightforward. We just go to the table. Okay, and then we can see how much they gave him. The amount they gave him was 551. So you will fall in this one. It's not this one, not that one, but number 5. As you can see, you will fall in that one. Tax bracket 5. Sorry, no. Sorry, not tax bracket 5, tax bracket 4. Sorry, tax bracket 4. Okay, because his amount is almost yet a maximum. So it's tax bracket 4. Okay, as you guys can see, you know, I'm a bit too fast and that cost me. Okay, tax bracket 4. So let's look at 5.1.2. So now they say calculate the amount of tax Maris must pay for the 2019-2020 tax year. Okay, so let's do the calculation. Let us do the calculation. Okay, so let's see, you know, what's given here, you know, in number 4. Okay, so now they say it will be 100,000, 263 plus 36% of taxable income above 423. Okay, so that's, you know, that's what's going to go down here. Okay, so let's do the mathematics of that quickly. Let's quickly do the mathematics. Okay, so what we're going to be left with here is to see, okay, we have to break it up, right? We have to break this question up. This is number 5.1.3. Let's create some space here. Let's just create some space here. So what we have to do here is, you know, we first see that, okay, what we'll have here is you're going to take 36%, you know, 36% of taxable income above. So if it's above that, you know, you're going to take 36%. They're going to take 36% of that amount, right? So now, with that being said, we notice that, you know, they're already taking, you know, the 100. They're already taking the 100,263 plus 36%, 36% of, you know, 551. We know what is his, his amount that he's going to get. 551, 762. Okay, so now what we're going to have is, and this is just the annual tax. Okay, this is the annual tax we'll be busy with here. So it's going to be this. When we subtract these two totals from each other, let me just do this quickly. Okay, so that is going to be 128. 128. Okay, so we can basically, you know, just punch all of this, you know, into the calculator quickly just to see. Okay, so it's going to be 100,263 plus oh, come on, 263 plus 36% of 128,000. Okay, we can see that amounts to 146 502 509. Okay, 509. But what we need to also take into consideration is tax rebates and medical aid credits for the 2019 to 2020 tax year. Okay, so the primary, you will fall on this one. The primary one, will be 14,000. So we still need to subtract 14,000, from the amount. So it's a rebate, because that's a rebate amount. We need to subtract from there. So tax payable. So the tax payable is going to be 146,509 minus 14. And when we subtract these, we'll see, we'll get an amount of, okay, let's subtract 14 from here. Okay, so that's the amount that is going to have to pay in tax. Okay, that's a taxable amount. So let's look at the next question. Okay, 5.1.3. Mario stated that if he had been 1 year older, he would have saved more than 600 monthly on taxes paid during the 2019 2020 tax year. Verify showing all calculations whether his statement is correct. Okay, so we need to check. He's saying that if he had been 1 year older, he would have saved more than 600 monthly on taxes paid. Okay, so let's see that, right? Let's see that amount quickly. So now, with that being said, this is, it's a nice, it's a nice question. It's a nice question. So let's take it step by step. We have to take this one step by step. So first, what we have to do is, we look at, his present, tax amount, in a month. So it's going to be divided by 12. And when we divide that by 12, we can say, present tax. So if we divide this by amount by 12, okay, so the basic tax amount 11,024.11 a month. Okay, so let's see what would have happened if it was 1 year older. If he was 1 year older, say it was 65. Okay, so we're going to take that amount, 1 year older, and we can say 1 year older if it was 1 year older, then we take the 32,000, okay, and subtract it from that amount, which was 7794. Okay, and then with that being said, we'll get the value of, we should get a value of 124 495.32. Okay, should get that amount. But now let's see, is monthly taxes, how much they would have taxed him monthly, on a monthly basis. Monthly, that would have been okay, which is 10,374. 10,374.61. And then the monthly tax savings, how much you would have saved. Okay, so that's going to be, we take the two amounts and we subtract it. We take the amount here, the amount we calculated on top, the present amount versus the amount, of if he was 1 year older. So we can say 11 minus our answer that we got. And that's going to be, okay, he is correct. So he is correct with his statement because he said he would have saved more than 600, and that is what he got. Okay, fairly straightforward. So we're done with that one. Let's do 5.1.4. Okay, so now with that being said, they say Morris is considering joining a medical fund. He plans to include his wife and 2 grandchildren. Determine the total monthly medical credits he would qualify for if he joined a medical fund. Okay, I say determine the monthly medical credits. So let's see. So the main member is 310. First dependent, which is his wife, and additional, So that's fairly straightforward. 5.1.4. Okay. And what was the other one? 209 was 209. So when we calculate this, okay, so that is going to be 1,338. That's going to be 1,338. So now with that being said, that is the amount he's going to pay. So let's look at the very last portion of this question. So now they say, Morris wants to buy a new laptop. He studied the available data for the 3 most popular brands of laptops sold in South Africa. The box and whisker plots below show the spread of the market share of Samsung, Apple, and our Huawei laptop brands from the fourth quarter in 2019 to the third quarter in 2020. Use the box and whisker plots above to answer the following question. Write down the name of the most popular laptop brand. Okay, write down the name of the most popular laptop brand. So that's fairly easy. You know, it's fairly easy because if we look at, you know, the data that's given to us, you know, we can see Huawei wins, you know, Huawei wins here because, you know, the median is sitting at 21. The median is sitting at 21.50. Look where the median is sitting here, 17 and 13. It means that more for 50, if you can see, you know, 50% of the population, you know, possess, you know, a Huawei laptop because the median number here is 21.5 and here it's lower, and for Apple it's even lower. So more people have Huawei laptops as opposed to Samsung and Apple. Okay, so it's very important. Always look at your minimum. You know, always look at your minimum and see, okay, where is it where it's located. You know, where's the median located. So that being said, it's Hawaii. Some people pronounce it as Huawei. No, maybe my pronunciation is off, but you guys get the gist of the question. Hence, write down the 50th percentile of the brand identified. So the 50th percentile, you know, is 21. Okay, that's a 50th percentile. And then 5.2.2, calculate the interquartile range of the Samsung brand, which is, you know, fairly straightforward. This is, you know, grade 10 calculations, you know. So for 5.2.2, that's just going to be IQ or interquartile range equals 18.75 minus 15.7, and then we'll see, you know, we should get an amount of, let's say 1875 minus 15.7. Okay, so now we have that. Which 5. Now we look at the very last one, 5.2.3. A data analyst claims that 75% of the data set of Apple was less than 16%. Explain whether or not his statement is valid. Okay, so we have to look at, you know, that statement that's being made here. So they say a data analyst claims that 75% of the data set of Apple was less than 16%. Explain whether his statement is valid. Okay, so now let's see. Let's go to Apple, and we can see here. This is 25%, 50%, and then 75%. And he said it's less than 15%. Sorry, less than 16%. Okay, so the statement is valid. So you can, you know, just look at it and say, okay, quartile 3 is at 1595. And this includes, sorry, this includes 75% of the data. Hence, his statement is valid. Okay, so there you have it, guys. You know, fairly straightforward, fairly straightforward, as you guys have noticed. You know, as you guys have noticed, you know, these questions, they are not that difficult. You know, you just need to, you know, sit with it, you know, and work through it, you know, step by step, and then from there onwards, you know, you will get to the correct answer. So make sure that, you know, you work through these questions, you know, and also tackle, you know, similar exam-based questions, and then you will be ready for the exams. Until then, enjoy mathematics. Bye-bye.